What is Falcon and why did I start this project? Hey guys, my name is Mark Hutchinson. I'm a full-time Forex trader, coach and mentor. I've been actively trading the markets for 9 years and I've pretty much well seen all there is to see in the trading world. My passion for trading and coaching led me to found Falcon Trading Guidance in a market saturated with mentors claiming to have experience. Not only does Falcon drastically improve your trading, but the project is an umbrella for so much more. Falcon is a culture. It's a mentality that focuses on improving all aspects of life. It's my profound mission to trigger that shift in your mentality so you can create financial freedom for yourself and finally have that time to focus on what you're truly passionate about. If you're like me, you've always believed you're destined for so much more. When you're surrounded around the right community that are always there to lift you higher, you know you've found the right place. Without further ado, welcome to the Foundation series and to the start of your Falcon journey. Hey guys, welcome to episode 1. This is where we lay the foundations for the rest of the course. In this episode, what you're going to learn is the core basics of Forex, the potential within the markets, what is Falcon Trading Guidance, and why I started this project. I wanted to let you know that this particular episode is going to be more presentation based, but as we transition into the rest of the episodes, we're going to dive deep into psychology, the core Falcon principles, and the mindset, goal setting, forecasting, and how to really capitalize on the markets. What you're going to see within the later episodes is how interactive that we are to help you learn the fastest way possible. I know you're going to love it and I cannot wait to see you in episode 2. So what I want to do is start off with episode 1, which will be an introduction to the Forex market. So with the introduction, we're going to keep it super basic. So take notes, follow step by step, and by the end of this series, you're going to feel completely comfortable and feel that you're able to trade the market with style and confidence. So let's start off. So what is Forex? So the Forex market, to put it very, very simply, is just the buying and selling of currencies on the global market. And of course, this operates 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. With that being said, it's very, very liquid. And you can see why it's attractive to be able to trade something, be able to grow your wealth and make money in something that is open pretty much 24/7. So as a Falcon member, you're going to be shown this within the lessons on a step-by-step basis, how you can trade the market on a profitable and consistent basis. This is really going to be your foundation in which that you start everything within the Forex market. And we're really going to approach this with the art of simplicity. So what is it that we focus on? So within the market, it's very, very easy to get lost. So what we do is that we focus on the 8 major currencies. So this is what we will always focus on: the Australian dollar, Canadian dollar, the Swiss franc, the euro, the Great British pound, the Japanese yen, the New Zealand dollar, and the US dollar. Having those currency pairs, what that enables us to do is to pair them up. So within the currency market, we will always be trading a currency versus, let's say, another currency. Within the currency market, we have 28 major currency pairs that are traded worldwide. As you can see here on the left-hand side of the screen, you've got those pairs listed for you. So let's say, for example, within these pairs, we want to match those up. And as you can see that we've got with the arrows, euro over the Australian dollar. Now, what we can do in that type of situation is that if we're going to trade a particular currency pair, what we're going to do is we're going to match one up and we're going to either be buying or selling. So as you can see there, we've matched the euro against the Australian dollar. So what we'll be doing is we'll be speculating whether the euro rises against the Australian dollar or decreases against the Australian dollar. And as you can see on the bottom of the screen, we also have the New Zealand dollar over the Japanese yen. So what we do is we pair them up. And by only trading these 8 major pairs, we allow ourselves to really hone in on the most reliable pairs and to ensure that we are increasing our profitability always. Even before we've even begun trading, we know these are the ones to focus on that are going to be there for us to be able to capitalize and grow our wealth. So what is a currency pair? Currency pair is simply, in layman's terms, the exchange rate of one currency pair matched against another, as I mentioned. So let's take, for example, the US dollar versus the Canadian dollar. The US dollar versus the Canadian dollar is currently trading at 1.25500. Now, the first currency stated in this pair can always be dominated as 1. So when we look at it from this perspective, the current trading price, as we noted, is the second stated in the pair. 1 US dollar equals 1.2550 CAD. You've probably seen them in the Bureau de Change. When you go on holiday, you always see whatever currency, wherever you live, you have that currency and then it gets exchanged. What we're doing is that we're able to speculate the price going up and down using charts, which we'll get into more in the later lessons. So how is an exchange rate of each currency pair expressed? The exchange rate of each currency pair will be expressed as the numeric value. So the number expresses, as previously mentioned, with the exchange rate between the two currencies, how they hold up against each other at that given point in time. So as a trader, what are you doing when you actually trade the pair? Keeping it very simple, you're either buying, which you'll hear the term long, or you're selling to go short. So by going short, let's say, for example, on the US dollar versus the Canadian dollar, you're trading the expectation that the price of the US dollar will decline. It will fall against the value of the CAD. If you're buying it, if you're going long over the USD over the CAD, you're trading with the expectation that the price of the US dollar will rise against the value of the CAD. Simple so far, right? You're trading that currency pair with the expectation that the current value will change in your outlined direction, up or down. By doing that, you're able to profit with price movements that occur within the markets on a daily basis, whether it's up, down, sideways, you're able to capitalize on that. And what that does is that having the market that is open pretty much 24/7, you can see by having a strategy, which I'll outline in the later lessons, you're able to capitalize that, whether you have a 9-to-5 job or whether you have your own business, and you're able to cater it around you. So you can see why the majority of the world right now is looking at the Forex market as very much a sustainable way to create either an income or a primary income. So let's take a look at something more towards the basics. So what is a pip? You may have heard of this term before, you may have even looked at it online, but to keep it simple, what a pip is, it's the 4th decimal place in the numeric value, which expresses the exchange rate between the two currencies. So all it is the unit measuring the small movements in price that occur in the FX market. Let's take an example again on the USD CAD. If the USD CAD is trading at 1.26640, when you execute a position long, so let's say you're buying the USD CAD, so again, you're speculating that the US dollar will rise against the Canadian dollar. Over the next couple of days, let's say the price has moved up to 1.29640. Let's do the maths. You have the 1.29640 minus the 1.26640 equals 0.03000. Price moved in our direction, 0.3000. When you look at it from that perspective, it can sound quite complicated with the numbers. So what we actually take from that is that it's 300 pips. So in the market, if you're forever, and I myself included 9 years ago, when I was looking at the market, it used to be confusing as well. So what we've done to simplify it, and the whole market in general, is that we look at it in pips. So with those 300 pips, it's an easy way for us to calculate the range of when the market is moving. So for example, on that day, it might have moved 100 pips or 200 pips. So you can see how focusing on it as a pip is very, very simple. All you're really doing is measuring per point or per pip of how that is moving. When we look at the complicated version of it, when we look at the actual numbers, you can do it that way. But if you find it more simple, which we do, is that we just look at it in pips. So just keep that as simple as possible. But what are the real benefits of FX trading? It really does offer a lifestyle that does seem unattainable to most. Some of you may have seen people trading on the beach, etc., or trading from anywhere in the world. We see that online a lot. But it really, really can be very, very rewarding. But you have to put in the work beforehand. You can literally replace your income. This is not something that a lot of people see it from the outside. They think, right, how can I just earn a little extra? It's more than a little extra. If you really focus on it, you'll be able to replace your 9-to-5 job. We've seen it happen many times within the Falcon community and the trading space in general. You just need to get those consistent results beforehand. With our strategy in Falcon, of course, the unique part about it is that it allows you to cater the style and the strategy around your personality and lifestyle. That's what makes Falcon unique. Ask yourself the question, what would you like to do if you had more time? Because that's what we're giving you. We're giving you more time to spend on things that you're more passionate about. So as a whole, you're getting your financial freedom, and that is the best gift that we can give you. The Falcon project as a whole, we are on a mission to create as many successful traders as possible. Every single one of you are going to have different goals. And with those goals, we want to make sure that you're moving towards those. And it gives us an incredible feeling to see those movements that we see in the community already, and we cannot wait for you to hit that. So what is the 90-90-90 rule? This is something that I really want you guys and girls to understand. Keeping it simple, 90% of retail traders lose 90% of their money in the first 90 days. Now, this, of course, it sounds pretty daunting at first, right? An unsettling amount of retail traders trade without any risk at all. No stop loss, no real strategy. They don't really know what they're doing. Sometimes people may have looked on YouTube here and there and they see a few videos, oh, that looks easy. And we get the same term. If it was that easy, everybody would do it. And then it begs the question, who told you it was easy? It's definitely not easy. It takes a lot of discipline and a lot of hard work. But of course, what's happened within the market is really tarnished, and it's got that kind of get rich quick scheme around it. And that's due to a lot of marketing. And that's exactly why Falcon, we stay completely clear from that nonsense. It does take work. You do have to be disciplined, but the rewards are incredible at the end. You need to treat it like a business. And how any business, you want to take that serious. And that's how Falcon, that's going to give you the strategy to be able to maximize on upside, downside, using our various strategic techniques. The maximum that you will lose on any given position, if you adhere to the Falcon style, of course, is 1% of your total balance. This is absolutely crucial to stick to that low risk model. And to keep it simple, think of it like this. Firstly, within the Falcon strategy, we have something that we teach that is very unique, which enables us to protect our psychology and limit our losses even smaller than 1%, which is the 0.5 and the break-even method, which you're going to learn in the later episodes. This is truly a game changer that really, really helps with your psychology. But let's keep it simple. Let's say, for example, you have a £10,000 account and that you risk 1% of that per trade. If you risk 1% of your account per trade that you make, what would that be? £100. So with that £100 that you're risking, if you lose, the worst possible case scenario is that you lose that £100. Let's say, for example, that you take for the month 10 positions. So you've taken 10 trades, whether you've matched the euro over the Australian dollar, the New Zealand dollar over the Japanese yen, or the USD over the CAD. Whatever positions that you've taken, if you've taken 10 trades, let's say, for example, you lost 5 out of those 10. So 50% of the time you actually lost. And let's say you took the full 1% loss, you're down 5%. In Falcon, our average risk to reward is 3-1. So 3% is our average risk. So let's say you lose 5 and you win 5. You lose 5% in total because you've lost 5 1% trades. And let's say that you've won 5 trades at 3%. 3 times 5, we do the maths, it's 15. Take away that 5% you lost, you're left with a net percent of 10% profit. You lost 50% of the time. The majority of people in Falcon, once you really hone in on the strategy, it's very, very normality to be hitting 70, 80% strike rate. So out of 10 trades, you may lose 2 or 3, worst case scenario. So you can see, even when you have a terrible strike rate, you're losing 50% of the time. Even by sticking to a low risk probability model, you're able to still capitalize. So you can see why it's very, very attractive. The reason why people, of course, lose their account and why the statistic happens is because people go too much off a feeling. They win a couple of trades and they feel invincible and they think, right, that trade looks good, so I'm going to double up this time. And then guess what? They lose. They end up chasing their tail. Then they double up again because they want to win the money back. And it really goes into that gamblish type mentality. So that's exactly why you treat it as a business and you focus on the low risk model. And if you do that, you can see how powerful that really is. Imagine just even on the basis of winning 50% of the time, if you're able to net profit of 10% per month, think about how powerful that could be on 10,000, on 100,000, and so on. It's very, very scalable. And that's why the method here is absolutely fantastic. So I really wanted you guys and girls to understand that, so you really understand the power. So one thing I want to cover is stocks versus FX. The FX market, as I mentioned, is open 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. This allows us to be very, very liquid within the market. We've got so much opportunity. And of course, we're able to sit back on the weekends, review our trades, and then plan for the week ahead. The stock market, however, has strange hours at times, and therefore price action is not always available during your closed hours. And that you see so many things like double listed companies, you have a lot of gaps in the market, and it can be a little bit trickier to trade. The FX market, however, is much larger than the stock market, and it can't be really influenced by larger companies or investors or mergers, etc. So from a sustainability perspective, it's far more attractive to be in the foreign exchange market for us. Commitment. This is the biggest thing that we like to talk about within Falcon. The most important thing within Falcon is that you need to understand that if you're a Falcon trader, you are at the highest level of trading. And the reason why is that we're not looking at trading just as the basics. We go deep into price action. We go deep into the art of technical analysis. So you'll be at a level in which that you can sustain for the long term, because the way we trade is through the core fundamentals of how price action has moved since day one. And we've been able to utilize the art of simplicity with our trading strategies, with our methodologies, to be able to really capitalize on that. Now, FX in general, it's really going to take you through an emotional roller coaster. There's no doubt about that. And it makes you question your decision making. So being able to have that clear mind is exactly what we show you. And in a market where there's a lot of money to be made, of course, there's money to be lost as well. So we want to make sure that if we combine that with that low risk model and our strategies, you're able to keep a cool head. And eventually, you're not going to become emotionless, because the fantasy of becoming this robotic person of trading and you'll never feel emotion in a loss is a fantasy. But what we'll be able to do is the word manage. Too many people within the forex market, the forex space, they want to control their emotions. But think about that. Control within itself comes from a very insecure place. What we're after is the word manage. Like a tornado, we can't control a tornado, but guess what? We can manage our way around it. So when we look at it in this essence, it is the absolute perfect vehicle, the perfect self-development to take charge of your life and to be able to create more time to do the things that you're more passionate about. Once you put the hours in, it generally becomes like second nature. Just like when you're driving a car, you're pretty much on autopilot. At the beginning, you're learning how to change gear, you're looking in your mirrors, everything is going through your head at 100 miles an hour, and you're always overthinking things. And then you stall the car, so many different things. But eventually, you drive home. How many of you have driven on autopilot and you've driven home and you've even gone for a speed camera and you've almost been on autopilot, that you get home and you think, I went through that speed camera, but I cannot remember how fast I was going. But on your subconscious, you slowed down and you didn't get a speeding ticket. I think we can all relate to that. It's because you literally become on autopilot even when you're not even thinking. And you've got that subconscious competence within the market. And that's what happens with trading. Once you know how price move, once you know how to execute the strategy, you're sticking to the risk, you have your trading plan, it becomes very difficult to lose unless you don't stick to the plan. It's that simple. And that's where the emotions creep into it. And we show you and help you how to manage those emotions so you don't go off the plan. So look at it from this perspective. Falcon is going to take you from an absolute complete novice to a confident trader with a strong mindset. Rather than having all these messy charts that you may have seen previously, you're going to see how simple we keep it, and you're going to be able to execute these strategies with style and confidence. Consistent traders can spend as little as 1 hour on the markets. It is true. But at first, the work must be put in without a shadow of a doubt. There is no way on earth that you come into the market, spend 20 or 30 minutes a day and becoming a consistent trader. You may have seen online people put in things like, I just made $1,000 before 9 a.m. This kind of talk. In all honesty, and now's not a time to mince words, absolute nonsense. And it's a false expectation, and it's people marketing. And the reason why I mention that, I want to be as real as possible with you. This is a business and it requires you to put in the work. And eventually, once you've put that work and you've put the hours, you put the discipline in, you can see after that the results. And you're able at that point to then spend maybe 30 minutes to an hour a day to be able to manage your positions. And the great thing is, putting that work in, you keep putting that work in, and then eventually you're able to limit that time. That is the reward. But remember, people are not normal people are willing to do that. Extraordinary, right? The little word there, extra. Putting that extra work in is really going to get you those results. So make sure that when you come into the market, that you have that commitment in your mind that this isn't just, I'm going to spend 30 minutes a day and, in a month's time, if I get it, good. If not, I'm just going to scrap it in. It's the wrong mindset to be going in. And so many people tarnish the market because they come in because they think it is this secondary income, get rich quick, when in reality, it's difficult. It takes time, but the rewards are incredible. And I promise you guys and girls, if you stick with it, the way we've been able to simplify the market, it's going to be the best decision that you make this year. The potential and the benefits of trading the FX market in general greatly outweighs any negative that you can think of. If you think about the possible rewards, whatever you read online, whatever the market's been tarnished, it has the ability to be an absolute game changer in your life and give you the freedom. And that's what it really was about for me personally 9 years ago. I knew the money was there. I knew there was a lot of money within the market, but it was always the freedom. And I knew the money would be a side effect after that. And what this does, this allows you to get to that next level, get rid of the excuses, any limiting beliefs for the people that say they can't do this or they can't do that. So new heights, guys and girls, new possibilities. So expected returns. This is something that I want to cover. And within Falcon, if you've been looking at Falcon from the outside or you may be very new, it's normal to hit big percentage points. But I don't want to mislead anyone into thinking that you'll come in the first month and start hitting 10 to 15% per month. It doesn't work like that. It takes a little bit of time. But the possibilities, the limiting beliefs have been absolutely blown out the water. And there's a reason for that. So returns based on your account balance of trading capital, of course, that is going to vary. So like I said, let's say, for example, if you're a trader and you learn the strategy, you're able to make, let's say, 10% per month. If you had £1,000 account, that 10% is £100. If you're making 10% on 10,000, then it's £1,000. If you're making 10% on a £100,000 account, then you're making £10,000 a month. So you see how, if we're focusing on percentage, just focus on becoming a good trader, the money will come because you're going to be doing exactly the same thing on the bigger account. So you can see how it's so scalable. Imagine having 10% on a £250,000 account. That's £25,000 a month. So you can see the power. It's absolutely insane. And any profits you make, of course, they will always be based on that percentage. And if you do that, it's an easy way to scale it and keep it as simple as possible. So the goal with FX is not to make $1 million overnight, not an overnight success story, but more the long-term game. And the way we teach within Falcon is we teach sustainability. So we're not executing 5 to 10 trades every day. In all honesty, we're looking more towards 8 to 12 trades per month. Now that is something you can sustain for the longer term, for the next 20, 30, 40 years. And you can see why it's so attractive that the way we do that, it doesn't require you to be in front of the screen 14 hours a day, because we've been able to simplify it, plan ahead, and focus on the quality over the quantity. So we've already seen a massive success within the community. If you've been watching the Falcon Instagram, if you're watching us on social media, you've probably seen people within the community commenting and sharing their results. Now, of course, within the Falcon community, the thing that really makes it special is that everybody holds everybody accountable. Now, I've been in a lot of communities over the years of my journey. I'm 27 years old now. I started when I was 18. I've learned various strategies. And what I realized over that time, I was banging my head against the wall for 4 years until I created my own strategy and I stripped it all back. And I realized that it was actually a lot easier once you got rid of the mess. And that is why people within the community are doing so well. But the community wouldn't be what it is without the people within it. Everybody holding everybody accountable. If you're new coming into the community, you'll see everybody welcome you in. And it's a unique bunch of guys and girls that just want everybody to do well. It's a real culture within the Falcon community. So I'm really excited for you to be joining us in the first place and excited to see where this takes you. But we all have that laser focus. We've all got our minds on the bigger goal and we're pushing everybody. And I cannot stress enough how important it is to be around people that actually want you to do well. Within the Forex space as a whole, there's a lot of ego. And where there's a lot of money in any market, there's always a lot of ego. You're going to find that. What we've been able to attract, which is incredible, is a lack of ego. And people actually wanting people to do well at all levels. So whether you're a complete novice or you've got a question and you feel slightly confused, an experienced trader will come and help you. And that is something that I've never seen before within the trading space. So the culture within Falcon will always be protected, and it is incredible to see to move people forward. And the top students within the Falcon method successfully, on a consistent basis, we've seen results in excess of 15 to 25%, sometimes even more. Now, it's not to say that people come in and make 30% per month every single month, but if you're already a Falcon member or you've been in Falcon for a while, you'll know that it's very, very normal to hit those results. Remember, if you hang around with somebody that makes $50,000 a year, and let's say that you go for $60,000 or $70,000 a year, people that were on 50 are going to think that, wow, 70, that's incredible, right? But if you make $50,000 a year and then you hang around with people that earn $250,000, then what? You're going to think that 50,000 is quite small. In reality, people are making 250,000. And what happens is that people are conditioned within the market to think, if I make 2, 3, 4, 5% per month, it's really good. And then when they come into Falcon, then they see the normality is 5, 6, 7%, 8%, if not a lot more. Limiting beliefs are blown. And that's exactly what we want to do here. And it's exactly what I experienced through my journey. I saw so much opportunity in the market and I realized that not many are capitalizing. They're not understanding what is the true potential to be able to capitalize on these trades and these positions. And I wanted to share that, and to see so many within the community already do that in such a short space of time is absolutely fantastic. And I cannot wait for you guys and girls to be doing the same thing. So one thing I get asked a lot is working while trading. How do I find the time? In all honesty, guys and girls, you will adapt. It's only natural. Whatever time zone you're in, whatever job you do, we have people that work on the oil rigs that are actually away for 3 weeks and then they come back and they're still able to adapt. So no matter what your situation is, I promise you, you'll be able to find the time. And of course, everybody wants to have time to do what is really important to them, right? You want to have time to spend on things that are a priority to you. So if you're serious, if you're really, really serious about creating this lifestyle for yourself, then you're going to have to sacrifice areas of your life. Maybe on the weekend, you normally go golf on a Sunday, for example. You may have to give up a little bit of time, but I promise you, it's those sacrifices that are going to give you these rewards. Now, within Falcon, we don't just focus on trading. Of course, trading is our main focus. We're very much on price action and technical analysis. We don't go too much off of that part, but key components is personal development, goal setting. These are the tools that really become the major part of becoming a successful trader. And my own personal beliefs and how I do this, and of course, I keep it very, very simple and show you how to do that. It's been an absolute game changer for people in the community. People underestimate the power of simplicity and your own language, the way that you speak to yourself, the internal dialogue. What we do is we've simplified that for you to be able to track your progress on a day-to-day basis. So you can know that, right, you're sticking and you're moving towards your goals. So Falcon, it's not just FX education company. It's a community. Like I said, it's a culture. It really is a way of life and a group of inspired individuals that are pushing people out their comfort zones. And that is exactly why we're seeing Falcon students meeting up in all different countries, time zones, and having their own individual meetups. And it is incredible to see. And I cannot wait for all of you to be attending those meetups and to meet as many of you as possible in person. So now let's take a look at the power of compound interest. This is something that literally blew my mind years ago when I first started trading. And I know it's going to give you a huge perspective of what is possible within the market. So now let's take a look at that. So what I want you to do is go to the Google search and type in compound interest calculator. You're going to get quite a few links. They all pretty much do the same thing, but we're going to be using this one today on the third link, which is it's very, very clean and very simple, and it gives us a nice breakdown. So you're going to take you to this site. You can either type this in as well. Let's take a look at it. So we're going to start off with our currency. You can either have pounds, euro, dollar, or other, entirely up to you. And we're going to start off with a base amount. I'm going to start off with 25,000 in this case. Now you can start off, you can play around with these figures all the way through, but I'm just going to show you an example. Everybody's going to have a different level of access to capital. So it's entirely up to what you have, but it's just going to demonstrate to you what is possible within the markets. So 25,000 base amount, annual interest rate. Well, you don't know your annual interest rate at the moment, but what we can take is an average of what's happened within the community and what is possible within the markets. It's very normal to be hitting those kind of returns. We've seen a lot of people in the community hitting 10 plus per month on a regular basis. So if we can take an average of what is possible within the community, well, let's look at that. If we set that at 10% per month on average, if we're looking at that as an annual interest rate, it's 120% per year. And if we calculate that over a period of months, let's say 12. So we're basing this over a 12-month period. We're going to leave this section out for now. I'm going to explain that after. And then we're going to be compounding daily. So what does that mean? When you're trading and you're trading a £25,000 account, let's say you make 1% on a particular trade, you've now made £250. So rather than calculating your next trade on your base amount of 25,000, you're now basing it off 25,000 plus your 250. So you see how by compounding daily, your return is going to dramatically increase. So let's actually take a look at what that looks like. So if we calculate that, it's going to give us a breakdown. So you can see the base amount that we start off with £25,000. If we're making on average 10% per month, which is 120% per year, our effective annual rate, this is where it gets interesting. Because you left your capital in there, so you're not withdrawing any capital, you're letting it compound. Every single time you take a trade, you're basing it off the new balance and still risking 1%. It's now 231.36%, an incredible change. And if we take a look at the figures here, we've taken a £25,000 account on 10% per average per month. But because of the compound, look at the figures, 82,000. That is the power of what we have here with the compound interest. So I wanted to demonstrate to you what is really possible within the markets when you take this serious like a business, and then you actually have a goal that you're going to leave this for a year and you're going to compound it and compound it. Now, if you can see that on year one, you can only imagine the figures of year 2, 3 and onwards. So there's the power. And there's one thing that I want to take one step further and show you guys and girls. So if we go back to the compound interest calculator and do exactly the same thing, we start off with our 25,000 base amount. We have our annual interest rate of 120%. We base that over a period of 12 months, but this time you're going to deposit. Now, all this means is that on a monthly basis, you may have a certain amount of capital because it's likely you may be working or you have a business and you can deposit that into there. Let's say, for example, we have £500 a month deposit into your trading account. So if we compound that daily still, exactly the same thing, and then we calculate that. All you've done is change this part here. So you're now depositing £500 from your wages or £500 from your business every month. So if we calculate those figures, see the difference? Now we've gone from over 80,000 to then 95,000. Now, if you was to just take £500 times 12, £6,000 a year to be just added in, it still wouldn't be as much as what we have here. So what you're doing is you're not just compounding daily on your new balance, you're adding that £500 a month and then compounding that as well. So whatever you can afford, if you can't afford 500 every month, it may be 200 or 100 or 250, whatever it is, you can see the power of what is possible within the markets. So I just wanted to demonstrate that to you guys and girls, because it's not just about I'm looking to make 5 to 10% per month and that's what the figure is. It's the compounded return is what really blows my mind still to this day of what is really possible. And it's incredible to see that. And as a trader that's been in the market 9 years, it is incredible to see that what can happen on just even starting with a £2,500 account and compounding it. That's why I'm very, very grateful to be in this position and be such an asset to my own funds and be able to take that skill. So it's incredible to share this with you guys and girls and to show you what is possible within the markets. And I cannot wait for you to play around with the figures so you can see what's possible for yourself. Hope you've enjoyed episode 1. And as I mentioned previously, the course is about to get extremely interactive. Now you understand the basics and the mission of Falcon. Now let's take a look at a sneak peek of the rest of the course. So what is Falcon Trading Guidance and what is the overall goals for the community and the project as a whole? There's lots of education courses out there, and what really truly separates us from the rest is the people within the community. I'm really, really grateful that you guys and girls are stepping into this community, and it's going to be fantastic to see your progression and watch you grow. And as we meet up more on a regular basis, as the meetups get bigger and bigger, it's going to be incredible just to see that accountability factor of that someone that you might have met in that country, and then we have another meetup 4 or 5 months later that you may have just gone live, and then now you're hitting 5 to 6% or 10% return. To have that accountability and be around people that actually care whether you succeed or not, that is something truly special. In years to come, to look back and to see the amount of growth and the progression people have made just from learning this way is incredible. Falcon is not just trading education, it's goal setting, it's really breaking through those limiting beliefs and being a community of like-minded people, of lifelong friends that you can see grow over a period of time. So something really unique happening here, and without going too off on a tangent, I just want it to be open and honest, and I cannot wait to see the success of this group just grow and grow month after month, year after year.